Aloha mai, aloha and welcome. What is aloha? What is this very special spirit that is universally spoken of? For some of us, it is more than a greeting. It's a life force that defines who we are and why we are here. I define aloha as a practitioner. It is my art form. I do practice martial arts. However, aloha is my art. And I say that because we're all familiar with Bruce Lee. And Bruce Lee was a great practitioner of Kung Fu. In fact, he called his Kung Fu Wing Chun. But when he describes his Kung Fu, he describes it as water. And he said that his whole objective was to develop a martial art that would flow just like water, that to every action there was an opposite reaction that would flow very natural, just like water. And so he called his martial art water. For me, aloha is that water. That to every action, there is an aloha reaction. And I have this appreciation and practice of aloha, and it comes because of a kupuna that we have, and she was an aunt. And her name was Auntie Pilahi Paki, who passed away in 1985. And Auntie Pilahi was known as a keeper of the secrets of Hawaii. Many people say that she spoke a very deep, knowledgeable Hawaiian that had been lost, the knowledge of the secrets of this language and of our people. Auntie Pilahi was, to us, the proponent of aloha. She spoke of it in all reference and reverence as the answer to the solutions of our problems locally, statewide, and internationally. And prior to her passing away, she tasked us to be practitioners and never forget what aloha meant, because in the 21st century, the world would be looking for it. In the 21st century, the world would be at risk. And the world would look for the solution, and this risk would threaten life itself and all world culture. And she said that the world, as they look for the solution, they would find the solution in Hawaii. And that solution was aloha. And so for years, many of us have been practicing. We've forgotten. We haven't practiced. But in this special time, all of a sudden, we're watching aloha emerge. And as this new restaurant opens in Corvalis, Oregon, it is an extension of that. It's timely. And so now it's time to share. Share some of the deep meanings that are the aloha reactions for me. What is the aloha response? My interpretation of that word is a little bit different than most people have been taught. Not because they're inaccurate, but because the meanings of the interpretations of the words that make up aloha were given in just a very special way. And so my interpretation of that word aloha falls down to 5 words, A-L-O-H-A. And the first word is akahai. The second word is lokahi. The third word is olu-olu. The fourth word is ha'a-ha'a. And the fifth word is ahonui. In all Hawaiian language, most of the words had 3 translations. There was the literal translation. And then there was what's called the kauna, or the symbolic translation. An example of that would be when we refer to pua, or flowers, and we were referring to children, the symbolism, or the kauna, the hidden message. And then there was the huna. The huna illustrations were the secret meanings of words. And so today I share with you the deeper meanings of that word aloha in the huna illustrations. The 5 words that make up aloha: akahai, lokahi, olu-olu, ha'a-ha'a, and ahonui. But what is aloha? What are those disciplines? Is the art that makes up the aloha? And so let's start with akahai. The literal translation for akahai is kindness. But the translation that she gave to me, the deep translation, was grace. And the picture or illustration is when you engage with white gloves to touch very cleanly. You don't smear, you don't leave your fingerprints. In other words, is to respect and be very, very clean in our engagements. El lokahi, many folks interpret lokahi as unity. I was taught something different. I was taught means unbroken, connected, full, whole, complete. And the inference there is that we are all connected and that we have to find those common connections so that we can come together. Olu olu, many refer to as pleasant. I understand olu olu as gentle. And the picture is that when I engage, I'm instructed to engage with very clean and soft, gentle touches, like touching a baby. To leave no bruises, to leave no stain, no fingerprints, with akahai and olu olu, to touch very, very gentle and lightly. Ha'a, a very special word in the Hawaiian language, commonly known as humility. I know ha'a as to go empty, to go to that place of emptiness. And in that place of emptiness, we have access to receive all which is there. And then ahonui, which is my favorite of the 5 words. Ahonui means patience, persistence, but I know ahonui as waiting for the moment. Because the moment is coming. And the moment might not come in my lifetime, but it will come. It's being prepared for the moment and preparing others for the moment. A continuous state of living in the moment and with the expectation and urgency that moments are coming, so preparing others for the moment. Those are the 5 words which make up aloha. And for me, just like Bruce Lee, to every action, there is an aloha reaction. When I speak of aloha, I'm not speaking again of the aloha spirit, but more as an art form, a practice. This is very pragmatic. It is not esoteric to me. It's actually extremely practical and a practice. And aloha is the hardest thing I do in my life, and it's the longest thing because it is a hard discipline. Anyone who says aloha is easy and fast, I think does not understand the depth of this word, aloha. For example, we have, in this country many politicians, and we look at politicians in many different perspectives. Sometimes it's with disdain. One of our congressional team members asked to meet with myself and some of our board members from my company, Enterprise Honolulu, about a year ago. And so I invited 5 of the top business leaders in Hawaii to join me with this meeting with a congressional member from Hawaii. One of my board members said, Pono, I'm probably not going. And the reason is that when this person was in another office, they were really mean to us in our industry. I said, I'm so sorry, I had no idea. I said, yeah, they did this, and this. And I said, I'm so sorry, I had no idea. I said, yeah, it was kind of nasty. What I listen with aloha is that my friend here, who's a very powerful businessman and a good man, he's wounded. He's wounded, and he's been wounded for a while. And in Hawaii and possibly the world, many of us are wounded. And because our wounds have gone unclean for so long, they've gotten infected. Quite often, we have gangrene. And now when you have gangrene, what do? You pull out scalpels and we're conducting surgery. So we start amputating our community. That is not aloha. And so what is the aloha response? What could be an aloha response? What is this that which is more than a spirit that can move us towards a healthy society and contribute and build prosperity for people? There's a big difference between policy and governance and values, especially aloha. See, if we want to have a healthy community, we absolutely must have good policy and governance. But we better reestablish our values, because in the absence of our values, what we have are communities of degradation that are focused on the low bar discussions, and then we wonder why we've invested $4 billion to elect officials to work on the low bar discussions, or we wonder why someone picks up a gun and shoots so many people. That's not a policy and governance issue. That is a values issue. And so, an illustration of an aloha response. The moment had come. And with gentle touches and clean gloves, helped to connect. And the members of our board all got it. And so what it does is it allows us, with an aloha approach, an aloha response, not to get defensive, but to take the conversations to higher levels. This is a gift. This is a gift to the world. But it's not something which is unique to Hawaii. Most people in Hawaii I think, have an experience of this. And through most places of the world, we have experiences of this. But like many of us in Hawaii, we've forgotten. I forget quite often. And so aloha becomes that conscience for me and that practice for me, which is very pragmatic, that to every response there is an aloha response. And what's the objective? The objective is to connect, to experience that reconnection that we all have, and to do it in a way that people go away carrying that connection because we didn't stain them, we didn't bruise them, and because the moment had come that revealed whatever needed to be revealed. And aloha was that which allowed us to build our relationship again or reestablish it for the benefit of the community, for the benefit of ourselves, for the benefit of wherever we're from, and the benefit of how that extends to the rest of the community, universe, world. And so I share with you aloha, and I bid you aloha. Aloha mai kako. Aloha.